Hi, last night we did a really great seminar down at Jax's gym, which was on how to bulletproof your shoulder. So I thought I'd film a follow-up video sharing some of the key concepts we went over last night. So this is what your shoulder looks like. The shoulder blade or the scapula sits with the humeral head or the arm, and it kind of needs to suction itself in there. That concept is called joint centration. So that joint needs to get nice and snug in there, and that's the job of the rotator cuff. So it stabilizes that shoulder. It needs to rotate around the rib cage to get your arm overhead. So it can snag along the way, which can create that tendonitis, bursitis, and also rotator cuff tendonitis, or what we call tendinopathies. So I wanted to go over some of the key exercises we went through to warm up your shoulder last night. One of them was what we call the Egyptian. So that is just to give you a good idea, is one hand's down, one hand's open, and then you're just trying to switch your hands and your palms over and get that feeling deep into that joint. And you can just do 3 or 4 sets of 10 here just to get that nice and opened up and warmed up. And then we went into what we call a Cuban rotation, which is a 90 degrees movement from the glenohumeral joint, which is the fancy name for your shoulder. And then we went into a trickier exercise, which is called the corkscrew, which you're down on your hands and knees, your palms in front of you, and then you're rotating your forearm and then shoulder into the ground, and then coming back up and around. Rotate that forearm down, keep the elbow down on the floor, and then push that top of that shoulder into the ground as much as you can. So those were 3 of the first exercises that I went through last night. One of the other exercises is to use a band, and it's just called a turnover. We do this in CrossFit a lot, and you can use a broomstick. I actually prefer the elastic bands for this. It just allows for a little bit of more freedom of movement. So I turn that over a few times, and then we went over a face pull, which is grab the same band, keep your shoulders and your traps nice and relaxed, and then you're gently pulling and initiating this movement through your elbows, pushing that chest forward slightly, not coming up here, and then just relaxing through here. Now, one of the core concepts we went through last night was setting your shoulder blades back before you get under the bar for pushing over your head. So we don't want to be rolled forward when we get under the bar. We want to make sure that we suction that shoulder back, so we get that rotator cuff stabilizing that shoulder joint before we get under the bar and push overhead. Now this is important for even dumbbell pressing. So we want to make sure that we turn on our lats. And I went through around the room last night and was touching everybody's back, and got them to touch my back so that you could feel when you start to initiate the movement, you want to actually push from under here. You want to keep those elbows up and drive over here, pushing that bar back to about here. So it's here, straight above your head, or slightly back. And that will and the goal of that is to really stabilize underneath using your lats, because it's a big muscle. So we want to make sure that your lats are doing the job. So that was one of the key concepts, and that can be transferred over to the bench press. So that when you're going to take the bar on a bench press, you're switching on those upper middle back muscles and staying really, really tight, so that those shoulder stabilizers and lats are ready for you and about to work for you as you do a big bench press. So those were some of the key concepts that we went through last night. And then we finished with kettlebells, pushing them overhead to improve that stability. And then we went through a bit of thoracic rotation. We got you down on the floor in that really high lunge exercise and rotating and opening up. And they call this the world's greatest stretch. It's one of my favorites. It's a good all-rounder stretch. It's going to open up that chest, pull you around, and really loosen off that shoulder before you start to train. We also went through how to get more thoracic extension to get the bar overhead a little bit more freely. One of the exercises we went through last night was to grab a bench, put your hands out nice and wide, get down on the floor, and then you want to just sit your bum back onto your heels and slowly push your chest through your arms, and then back off and come through. Push your chest through your arms, and then back off and come through. And then repeat that a few times. And I did make you're aware of those coaching cues, driving your chest through versus driving your head through as you push to get the bar overhead. So it's all about driving that chest through versus driving your head through. That's going to help protect that shoulder from injury as well. So that's a really important concept. So these are some of the things that we went over in the seminar last night. I hope you took away a few things, and I really enjoyed coming down, so thanks for having me.